This is State Rep candidate Ryan McReynolds commenting on the infamous Supreme Court ruling on the unconstitutional Obamacare. You know what? I know that there's going to be people saying that, oh, Obamacare is going to be so great for this nation because it's going to ensure, make sure that everybody's under insurance. Actually, no, that's not what Obamacare is really about. What it's about is requiring everybody to be insured, even if they can't afford it. Seriously. How is everybody in this country going to be insured under a requirement if not everybody can afford it? And what about the people out there that don't want to be insured to begin with? And yes, such people do exist. For example, Andre Maru, the 1992 Libertarian Party candidate for president, he happened to be rich, so of course he was able to afford health insurance, but you know what? He chose on his own free will not to even have it. Why not? He said, I don't need health insurance. I take care of myself. I don't smoke. I watch my weight and all that, so I have no need for health insurance. And granted, there was some sort of remark from somebody to People magazine about it in the letter to the editor thing in response to that article, and basically what it said was, is this man for real? He says he has no need for health insurance because he watches his weight and doesn't smoke and all this, that, and the other thing, and they made remarks about what if this or that happens or whatever, but I'm like, well, you know what? Andre Maru decided he didn't want health insurance, okay? No matter how much he could afford it, he didn't want it. He didn't want it, and you know what? If he doesn't want it, why should he be forced to have it, And you know what? And there's even some people who can't afford it that don't want it either. In fact, you know what? I remember when I heard my mom talking to one of my cousins about this one doctor that, I don't know which town this doctor was in, but I guess this was one that my mom was going to have for a doctor. But then she decided she didn't want to go see him at all when he was yelling at this one woman because this woman didn't have health insurance, and he said, I cannot provide you any service because you do not have health insurance. And my mom thought to herself, that's not right. Because, this woman still needed medical service anyways, and you know what? Seriously, if somebody wants to pay for a service without insurance, why not allow that person that opportunity? Some people choose to do that, Granted, yeah, insurance can be great and all, if the company's, not gonna be all prickly about it and they're gonna, actually provide the service that you're, paying the premiums for and all that, but why should somebody be forced to buy something? Seriously. And on top of that, this Obamacare thing is going to involve a taxation and create bigger government, thus bigger intrusion in our lives. Okay? How do I know this? Well, let me put it this way. Did you know that Social Security numbers originally were only issued to whoever was receiving the Social Security benefits? That's right, those were the only people that had Social Security numbers originally. Originally, we didn't require everybody to have one. The only people that had to have them were whoever were actually getting the benefits. That's it. That's what it was originally about. But then it was decided, even after the fact that, originally, it was also declared that the only thing Social Security numbers would be used for would be whoever was getting Social Security benefits. But then it was decided, wait a minute, we can find another purpose for this. We can use it for taxpayer identification number. So then it was decided everybody would be required to have one, even if they're not going to get the benefits. And a good example of the people that don't get the benefits are the Amish, because they refuse to go for getting Social Security even when they are 62 or older, or even if they happen to, like me, be classified as a disabled person. And so, of course, as it stands, if a business is Amish-based, they can opt out of the Social Security tax, because what's the point of paying into the system if you're not going to actually use it? Although they still do pay income tax like everybody else, so of course even they are assigned Social Security numbers too. But the original intent was to have it only for people who get the benefits. That was it. And likewise, this whole healthcare thing of Obamacare, unless we can put a stop to it for good, it's going to be used for more than healthcare. I can guarantee it. It's going to, in fact, lead to implementation of a national ID, which is already being attempted right now. A national ID. And what's the national ID for? It's so the government can keep track of everybody. But it's not just that, but the government's going to even look into, like, what your viewpoints are, like what political party you belong to, what religion you belong to. And you know what? There's already been people that have been harassed over their political views. For instance, there are people who got harassed all because they were supporting Ron Paul, who happens to be a duly elected congressman and happened to legally be on the ballot for President of the United States. And last time I checked, if one is on the ballot for president, you as an American have the right to decide if you're going to endorse that person for president or not, regardless of whether or not that person's Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green Party, Independent. The list can go on and on, I mean, what's more American than that, on supporting who you choose for office, I mean, boom, I'm one of the 3 Republicans running for state rep. But you know what, I mean, supporting my opponents is just as American as supporting me, I mean, some of you watching this probably are in support of me and are thinking, yeah, Ryan McReynolds is right on the money with what he's saying. But then some of you are probably thinking, nah, I'd rather vote for Tim Kelly, or nah, I'd rather vote for Ann Doyle, and some of you may even be thinking, nah, I'd rather vote for Judith Lincoln. Okay, I mean, this is America, You have your right to these opinions and all that, and the government shouldn't be going after you just because of, your opinions, I mean, the government should not be going after somebody, because they decided to back me, or because they decided to back Tim Kelly, or because they decided to back Ann Doyle, or because they decided to back Judith Lincoln. No, I mean, going after somebody over who they chose to back for office, that's very un-American to do, but things like this have happened anyways, and, well, there are things more important than whether or not I get elected state rep, and that is getting rid of that Kenyan usurper, illegal alien that is in the White House. I mean, not only does this man sign an unconstitutional bill that most of the people who voted for it did not even read. I mean, why vote for a bill if you don't even read it, you know? I mean, if I were in elected office, I would want to know what is in that bill before I vote on it, you know? And if I think it's a good bill, then I'm happy to vote for it. But if I think it's a bad bill, then I'd be voting no way on it, you know? And this Obamacare bill was 1,900 pages long. Why does a bill need to even be that long, you know? Why does a bill need to be that long? I mean, the United States Constitution isn't even that many pages long. The United States Constitution is, you know, very simplified, and it's the simplified code of the nation. But we have a usurper in the White House that disobeys it. And that is wrong. And never in the history of this nation have we had a so-called president suing a state for trying to do what is right for this nation, such as when Arizona went about, you know, having their law regarding illegal aliens, because guess what? A whole bunch of illegal aliens are stealing jobs. A whole lot of people in this country who were born here are desperate for jobs. I'm one of those people who are trying to get a job. And it's not just white people like me trying to get a job that were born here. Blacks who were born here are trying to get a job, and you know what? Even Latinos who were born here, even people of Mexican heritage born in this country, are trying to get a job. So guess what? The illegal aliens are hurting not just white people like me, they're also hurting black people. And guess what? The illegal aliens from Mexico are hurting even people of their own race, because you know what? Thanks to them, there are even Americans of Mexican heritage out of work too. So, guess who the real racists are? The illegal aliens. You know? I mean, heck, there's like a woman who was born in Mexico, but legally came to the United States and is a naturalized U.S. citizen that ended up working in the school district in my area. I mean, she didn't come illegally, she came legalized. And she's a naturalized U.S. citizen, but there were some idiots that called her illegal alien and all that, and I'm like, oh boy, you know, because this woman's not an illegal alien, she came here legally. You know, she came legalized way, she's a naturalized citizen. But the illegal aliens have a role in why this happened to her, and so guess who's really guilty of racism? The illegal aliens. They're the real racists, you know. And that's something to think about. But being Obama's an illegal alien himself, you know, it's like, well, guess what? He backs those illegal aliens. And you know what's really ironic is that, you know, the Hispanic caucus in Congress, while they're backing the illegal aliens, they are abandoning their own people of this nation that are in dire need, people who were born here that are Hispanic, and people who are Hispanic that came here legally, obtained legal resident status or naturalized U.S. citizenship. You know, these Latinos got abandoned by the Hispanic Congress all because they're backing the illegal aliens. Who's the real racist there, you know? I mean, heck, when two Latinos, Agent Ramos and Agent Compion, were doing their jobs, they got prosecuted by a federal prosecutor, got convicted, and they didn't get freed until Bush and Last Minute Dealey went about commuting their sentences so that they could get out of prison. And what did the Hispanic caucus do about these two of their own race that were wrongfully imprisoned? The Hispanic caucus did nothing for them because the Hispanic caucus was too busy backing the illegal aliens instead of backing people of their own race that are citizens of this country. Where's the real racism at, you know? Seriously. Oh, and there's people out there who love Obama to pieces like he's a god that will say that if you don't like Obama or disagree with what he stands for, that makes you a racist. Well, guess what? You know, Martin Luther King said it best when he said, you know, that he had a dream where man would be judged not by the color of his skin, but by the content of his character. And you know what? I have followed those words when it's come to voting for candidates. And you know what? I can name black individuals that I have voted for. Of course, none of them are Obama. I did vote for a black man in 2008, but it wasn't Obama at all. The black man I did vote for in 2008 was Torian Bridges for Wayne State Board of Governors. He unfortunately lost, while Obama unfortunately won. But boom, with both Obama and Bridges, between the two of them, I didn't look at their skin color, I looked at their character, and I didn't vote for Obama because of his character, just like, you know, I voted for Torian Bridges because he's of good character, you know. And I can name off, you know, some other blacks I've voted for in elections and so forth too. Like I've voted for Bob Young on the Michigan Supreme Court. The first time I voted for him, I didn't even know what race he was. I just, you know, knew he was of good character. And of course later I did find out he's black, but still, you know, I was glad I voted for him anyways, regardless of his skin color. And of course in 2008, when I got to meet him for the first time, he was, you know, promoting his friend Clifford Taylor for Michigan Supreme Court because Bob Young's term wasn't up at that time, but Clifford Taylor's was at that time, and so he was stumping for Cliff Taylor and all that and telling us why we should vote for Cliff Taylor. But then, you know, 2010, there was, you know, Bob Young on the ballot and all that, and I remember Justice Maura Corrigan, who, you know, later got promoted to the welfare department by Governor Snyder and all that. Well, she had spoke about, you know, how much of a brilliant man Bob Young is, including how scholared he is on law and all that, when she spoke about why he deserved to be reelected and all that. And she didn't mention his skin color or anything. Rather, she mentioned, you know, about what he's scholared on and all that. And he really is a very smart man, you know. And I even got to see a video on when he described on why it was difficult, you know, to put an end to slavery and all that. And, you know, and it was good to hear, you know, a brilliant black man like that, you know, talk about it, you know, especially from a black person's point of view on the issue of slavery. And he is not one that goes about, you know, hating in spite of, you know, the whole slavery thing and all that. In fact, another great black man, Stacy Swimp, had commented on that, you know, if you're going to not be angry about what happened and you're going to be willing to forgive and all that, that's when you're truly free from slavery. And you know what, you know, I couldn't have put it better myself, but Stacy Swimp had a good point, you know, there, and I salute him for it, you know, because you know what, he's right about that, you know. And well, yeah, seriously. And yeah, some people will say, you know, that voting against Obama because he's black is racist. Well, you know, voting for him because he's black is just as racist as voting against him because he's black. I mean, yeah, some people were eager to have a black president finally, and granted, I had hoped that we would have a black president one of these days, but I certainly didn't want it to be Obama, I would have rather had Alan Keyes be president instead of Barack Obama, but unfortunately we ended up with Obama, whose legality of president is in question, and considering these bills he signed, including Obamacare, it's like, it's been one big disappointment after another, and Obama, he is a usurper, born in Kenya, he's a Marxist, and you know what? I thought Bill Clinton and Jimmy Carter were bad. Yeah, they both were bad, but Obama is so worse. He makes Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton look like good guys. Granted, Jimmy Carter is not a good guy. Bill Clinton is not a good guy. But Obama makes Carter and Clinton look like good guys. Really, seriously. Because, Obama makes Carter and Clinton look like angels. That is just how bad Obama is. That is just how bad Obama is. And we got to get him voted out of office. We really do. And if we don't get him out of office, we are in trouble. We are in big time trouble. And we need to stop letting these Obamaites get away with playing the race card and get away with calling us racist for opposing Obama and his agenda, because guess what? The race card is the only weapon the liberals know how to use, and we can't let them get away with it. We have to take a stand and stand for what is right, Anyways, thank you for watching, and God bless.